We are seeing another attack on our supply chain. Where are these fires coming from? How are these fires happening so often and always hitting massive distribution and manufacturing facilities? All right, we've had three massive fires in the past 24 hours, and this is not a coincidence. This seems like something's happening, and actually, people are getting caught for doing some of these crimes. All right, a couple months ago, people got caught in Texas for burning down a wood manufacturer there. So there's three big stories here, three big warehouses that have burned down. We can see here a massive fire at a Chicago Heights manufacturing warehouse and facility, and also a shipping facility. Also, hazmat crews are on the scene in Euclid, all right, for a shipping warehouse, or for a mining warehouse, sorry about that, magnesium mining warehouse. And also in the UK, an agricultural warehouse has been hit as well. So this is a pattern we are seeing. Let's get into the details of this massive fire here in Chicago. So a massive fire hit a manufacturing facility in Chicago Heights. This is happening right now this morning, and you can see here some aerial footage from it. This facility has been devastated. This is a 230,000 square foot manufacturing and shipping facility right outside of Chicago, or right in the thick of Chicago, honestly. So this is a very important hub to our supply chain. And these manufacturing facilities, they don't just grow back, they don't just come back. This takes years to rebuild, or they just never get rebuilt. Hundreds of people, potentially thousands of people, lose their jobs, and a critical part to our supply chain, manufacturing, distribution, is also taken offline for years, all right? And this just keeps happening, and it's incrementalism. Even if it's only 0.1% every single time one of these fires happens, it still adds up to a lot when you have hundreds of them a year, potentially thousands over the past few years. So you can see this smoke plume here, massive smoke plume going up in the sky. This was a massive fire, and fire departments from, I believe, 5 different departments were fighting this fire. And you can see some on the ground footage, but the real disturbing footage is afterwards, when it is completely leveled, completely flattened. This warehouse, you can see, completely burned to the ground. And this was critical. Chicago is still a main distribution and manufacturing hub. It's still critical to the supply chain, and this being taken out is going to affect a lot of businesses, all right? And here's some details of what happened. It says, no further information has been provided. The cause of the fire is unknown. And it says, at this time, the space was, quote, 230,000 square feet of domestic production assembly and warehouse space on 13 acres for rapidly growing custom wood and metal manufacturing. So, critical components here. And we also saw a massive cyber attack take out a manufacturer in Canada that was one of the largest manufacturers in the world that creates die cast, aluminum cast products for all these other manufacturers to use in their factories and put together products. So we're seeing the supply chain constantly being hit. Let's get into mining. And they're hitting all the big ones, right? They're hitting manufacturing and distribution, they're hitting mining, and they're hitting agricultural. So these are all these things, and these are all related. Mining is related to agriculture as well, because you need magnesium to grow food, right? This is still an attack on the food supply chain. You need magnesium for other things, but it's also a critical component for growing food and fertilizers. So hazmat crews, we've been seeing a lot of these hazmat crews too, right? There was a massive train derailment in Louisiana, and toxic chemicals were spilling essentially right like 100 feet from houses, from what I could see from the pictures, hundreds of feet away. And we had a hazmat crew down there. Also, yesterday I reported, or it wasn't yesterday, 2 days ago, sorry about that, I reported of a massive train crash in Ohio. This is also in Ohio, this magnesium warehouse fire. So what's going on? And that was an oil tanker crash. And actually, last night, the governor of Ohio put out a mass emergency alert on people's phones to evacuate that area immediately. They're already telling people to evacuate, but now the state government, like the county government was telling them to evolve. Now the state government is saying you need to evacuate we could have even more explosions. All right, this scene is not handled because it was a massive train crash in the middle of a gas station and a heating oil home supplier. All right, very, very just coincidental and very worst case scenario there. But also in Ohio and Euclid, a magnesium warehouse, and magnesium is critical for fertilizer and growing crops. So this being taken out is just another hit to the supply chain. Is going to increase prices of fertilizer and potentially have shortages of magnesium as well, at least regionally. So several crews on Monday battled flames in Euclid at a warehouse that stores a large amount of magnesium. Whoops. It started just before 3 a.m. So 3 a.m. fire at this warehouse. These fires always just happen in the middle of the night for some reason. It's always happening, all right? Every time I read it, it's always just like, oh, it was way early in the morning, fire started, no one was there, we don't know what happened. And it's always like causes unknown, like, sorry. So it started just before 3 a.m. and it says they responded to the scene and warned the EFD personnel against using water for extinguishment. All right. So this is almost a chemical fire. I believe magnesium is actually very flammable. So it's one of those things they probably could not put it out with just water, and that's why the hazmat crews were on the scene. So very difficult situation they're dealing with there, and also just another hit on our supply chain, and also just another reason to get stocked up, all right? Get stocked up on dolomite lime that has calcium and magnesium, organic calcium and magnesium that you need for your plants, for your gardens, called dolomite lime. And it's organic. It's used on organic farms, and it provides calcium and magnesium, right, which lots of plants need, especially things like tomatoes, which can get blossom end rot. Just a little tip for you right there. And another warehouse was hit in the UK, right? So I believe this was in Bedfordshire, and it actually shut down one of their main highways because of this massive fire that happened, and this hit a ag warehouse in the UK. So it says the Bedford Fire and Rescue Services said it was called to an agricultural fire in a warehouse. So just another warehouse, and it looks dark, looks like it's middle of the night when this fire hit at a ag warehouse in the UK as well. We've seen dozens of ag warehouses. I remember last year one of the biggest, I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but one of the biggest organic food suppliers in America, in the United States, their headquarters burned down. I think it's Azure, Azure, Azure. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what this company is called. This was last year, early last year, mid last year, 6+ months ago, but one of the biggest organic food companies in the USA, their headquarters burned down, and they lost massive amounts of food, and distribution trucks, lost a distribution center. All these different things are happening, and now the UK is getting hit too. You can also see here just some details. It says the Bedfordshire Fire and Rescue Service said it was called at about 4:20 General Mountain Time, or Greenwich Mountain Time, whatever that is, GMT, on Sunday to a warehouse on the A507 between Clop Hill and Bedlow. So this one was at 4:20 in the morning, early in the morning as well. There could have been people there possibly, but it's one of these things, another fire just starting in the middle of the night. The warehouse, which measures approximately 164 feet by 32 feet, was a, quote, fully involved in the fire. And they said, quote, the blaze was very complex to fight. So just another thing, another distribution supply chain and food supply chain warehouse being taken out at a critical moment. All right, when we are seeing shortages of eggs, shortages of food. Every time I go to the store, the egg prices go up. Right, it's going up every single time. They just have a little paper on there now that they change. They don't even put the price tags. They just put a new paper there, and it's going up every single time. And there's also less and less eggs too And why is that happening? All right, there's a lot of theories on that. Farmers are speculating maybe there's something going on with certain types of chicken feed. All right, we're seeing all these hits to the food supply chain, and this is at a critical moment when we're already seeing shortages. So get prepared now, guys. Learn how to grow your own food. Get stocked up on fertilizer now. Get stocked up on seeds now before the spring rush hits. It's already February. The spring rush is going to hit next month. People are going to buy up all the seeds, all the fertilizer, all the stuff, especially this year because people are feeling it. People know what's going on. I'm already reading there's like shortage chickens now. Like that's the new thing. That's the new wave is to get chickens for egg shortages. All right. So get prepared now. Get your eggs now. Get your chickens now. I'm already seeing stores saying that they're gonna have chicks in really soon, and probably some places down south probably already have them in where it's a little bit warmer. So get stocked up now. Get prepared now, guys. And also hit that like, hit that thumbs up, hit those comments, hit that sub button, hit that bell too if you want to get notified. I'm going to be posting 2 to 3 videos every day, so make sure you're looking out for those, checking for those on my channel. And thank you guys so much. I hope you have a big old blessed day.